Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 19th day of October, 2023, Thursday of the 28th week of the year, the 28th week in Ordinary Time. It is also the day in which we honor the memory of St. Isaac Jogues and St. John de Brebeuf and companions, the North American Martyrs, the Jesuit North American Martyrs. It's been a week of martyrs, 3 days, three past days of red vestments. St. Isaac Jogues St. Ignatius was a martyr on Tuesday. St. Luke, considered to have been martyred as an evangelist on Wednesday, and now Isaac Jogues and John and their companions, the North American Martyrs. It is day 4 of the Franciscan Chapter of Unity. Today begins now the deliberations for statutes that will be held by the new province, then to be able to be put into effect as we continue to move down this journey of joining all these provinces together into one. So hopefully you have been praying for them. Downtown Kansas City is behind me. There's not much around here where the Sheraton is, as you can see over there. So there's the Sheraton, and then behind, you can't see it, behind it is the Westin, where we had another meeting last summer in preparation for all of this. So this is kind of like just offices and 2 hotels that's in this area. The World War I Memorial is over on the other side, there, and so you can see the Western Auto neon sign still blinking behind me over there. So it's nice. It's a comfy hotel. It works. But it's been working. The friars have been coming together, enjoying each other, so that's a plus. So hopefully that will continue. So again, your prayers have been appreciated and have been recognized all this week. The readings for today, there are special readings for Isaac Jogues, but the readings for today are the readings for today that most people will hear. And so we continue with Romans. Here is where Paul makes this great statement about faith and works, and which again our Protestant brothers and sisters, our Reformed brothers and sisters will take up at the beginning of the Reformation as kind of being an affirmation of what makes a person a believer. It is by faith, which is a gift from God, and it is not necessarily by any kind of devotions or works or prayers or whatever it is. And again, this kind of consideration, this realization or this affirmation happens because at the time of the Reformation, everybody was just trying to do whatever kind of magical trick they could do to sort of wheel and deal with God. And it was not good. It was not healthy. It was not building faith. It was not bringing people into an awareness of God in their lives and God around them. It was just, how many Hail Marys, how many Our Fathers, what can I do to avoid hell? What can I do to avoid hell? And our Reformed brothers and sisters looked at this passage from Romans, and basically they saw where Paul basically says it is not all of this work that we're doing. And again, Paul is referring to sacrifices. He's referring to all the other kinds of rituals, which again he in his conversion begins to see as not having as much value anymore. Now again, that might be a step for Paul to make. That may have been true, may have not been true, but the whole idea is if we just keep trying to wheel and deal with God by all kinds of activity, all kinds of rituals, devotions, whatever it is, we are not embracing the fullness of what faith is. It is a gift to trust, a gift to believe that God knows what God is doing, a gift basically just to throw ourselves into the arms of a God who loves us and wants to constantly remind us how much we are loved. That is what human life is about. Not keeping a record or keeping track, of how many novenas I make and how many rosaries I do and what have you. They help and they can help, yes, but they are not the fullness of what it means for us to possess the faith that we have. In the gospel today, we move into the great woes in Luke's gospel. The woes against the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, all the people who were leaders, religious and otherwise, in Israel at the time of Christ. And basically the constant woe is that they have failed in their duty. They have failed in their job. They are more concerned with power, with authority, with control, with domineering attitudes and behaviors, with oppressing people, with the constant burden of obeying this rule, obeying this law, and making sure that you do this and don't do that, and that God doesn't like it when you do all these other kinds of things and do not listen to him as you should. All these kinds of things do not, again, build a relationship with God. They do not build a relationship with Christ. They do not build a faith that lasts, a faith that is relevant, a faith that has power, a faith that has teeth, a faith that matters in our lives. We cannot just be people who merely follow the rules because that doesn't necessarily get us far in life. We are people who must take risks. We are people who must believe, even when it seems ridiculous perhaps to do so, even when it seems absurd to do so. We are called to believe and to never stop believing because we have a God who believes in us and knows what we are capable of and knows the potential that we have within inside of us. Is a God who wants us to become what we have been created to become, a again, that comes by the work of faith and belief. A faith and belief that does put itself into action, but because of the faith that we have, because of the trust that we have in God. Continue to pray, St. Francis and people of God, for this Franciscan chapter. May the Lord give you his peace.